Welcome, my friends, to the most definitive Berserk character tier list that you will ever see in your entire goddamn life. After I am done with this tier list, there will be no reason for anybody to ever do another Berserk character tier list because I don't think it'll be even arguable where I place these characters. No, for real though, doing this tier list, and out of all the ones that I could find, a lot of the tier lists said this is the ultimate Berserk character tier list, and they had like 13 characters, and that was it. This is the one that I found that has the most amount of characters on it, so it's the one that we're going with. I'm sure it's still missing some people, and there's a couple of things that I want to put into the criteria of this tier list. So the number one thing is when it comes to S tier. All right, I see some people do tier list, and they just throw every single character up in S tier, but let me ask you, if every character is S tier, then is any character actually S tier? I think S tier needs to be reserved and exclusive for just the best of the best. So in order to do this properly, I don't have 5 in my mind right now besides Guts himself, but I'm going to limit the S tier category to only 5 characters. So if I, for some reason, begin putting more than 5 characters in the S tier, I got to make a decision. I got to move some down to A because I feel like S tier should only be reserved for the best of the best. Also, I'm going to be ranking these characters kind of in a general sense. I don't have an overall theme other than just how I feel about the characters in general, but I will be kind of going along with what they mean to the story, the impact of the story, or basically like how influential of a character they are. So even if they don't have a lot of screen time or presence in the story, if they impact the story in some massively significant way, I think that can also boost them towards the top. Or you have characters like Kaska, who of course is a major, super important character, has a large amount of the manga where she's not really with it, she's not really herself, but then comes back. So I think that still qualifies, even though there's like a significant portion of the manga where she's not there, or she's there, but mentally she's somewhere else. She's a potato. I think even that, still qualifies her to be like towards the top, right? So that's kind of how I'm ranking it. Other than that, we're just kind of see what happens as we go through this. So let's start right away with Adon Korbowitz. So Adon Korbowitz, he is meant to be a super annoying character. He's very egotistical. He boasts about himself a lot. He has a million ancient secret techniques passed down for generations. But I actually don't find him as annoying as I find some other characters. He obviously is annoying, but there is sort of like a little bit of a charm. I think because he's so incompetent, I think if he was actually showcased to like really hurt people and really torture people and do the things that he says he does, I would dislike him more. But like, he's kind of like just a klutz, and so you kind of feel like, all right, like he's just trying too hard, you know what I mean? But anyway, he's a C tier character. I mean, he's not, he's not like super important. He is kind of there just to kind of pose as an antagonist for a while before Gaston shows him, what a weakling he is. For Azan, also I think this is mostly alphabetical order, which is interesting. Azan has an interesting history too. He was a legendary warrior that fought a bunch of people off of the bridge. He uses the giant, what do you call that weapon? It's the mace. It's not a mace. It's a club. What do you call it? I don't know. Somebody in the comments will know. Azan was showcased pretty highly during the Conviction arc. Afterwards, we didn't see him for a while, and now he's come back as the mysterious mustache knight. The only character more secretive than the identity of the Skull Knight is, of course, the identity of the mysterious Mustache Knight. But he found a sense of shame, and now he's basically been reduced to a joke character. But I still hold out a little bit of hope that he's going to have a moment, that he's going to have a bit of a moment to redeem himself coming up. Also, Guts needs all the help he can get, and Azan has definitely proven that he's a pretty strong character despite his age. So I'm going to put him in B tier. I think he's all right. Next characters are the Bakiraka. We don't really get to see too much of them. They are disposed of pretty handily by the Band of the Hawk, but I do like their techniques. I like the weird, I like how they use kind of like the strangeness of their bodies and persona to kind of exemplify their abilities, right? Like the one dude, like basically doing that giant split above the sewer, and the one guy shooting darts. I think they're cool, but again, they're only in the manga kind of like to build up the Band of the Hawk before we get to Wild. So I guess they're going to be C tier, but they'll be higher than Adon. The Bakiraka bodybuilders, all right, sort of the bodyguards of Salat. They are super cool. They have, just the years of like punching stuff and their swollen knuckles and being able to just basically like knock somebody out with one single blow. They are pretty awesome. Again, they don't really have like a lot of character to them, but they're just cool, man. They're just cool when they show up. I enjoy them. They did fight against Raxus a little bit. I'm gonna put them up in B tier. I enjoy them. I'm excited to see a little bit more from them. Salat, of course, Salat is a character that I always feel bad for because Salat is incredibly cool, but he's always put up with somebody who's just a little bit better than him. Like, he's always in a situation where, like, he is super strong, he is super skilled, he's very intelligent, but then he goes up against Guts, or then he goes up against Raxus, or he's just always in a situation where, like, he just happens to be right next to somebody who's a little bit better than him. Even so, I think he's a good character. I'm going to put him up in A tier because he has been one of those characters that just is slowly evolved throughout the course of the manga, and every time he shows up, there's a little bit more information to be dealt, there's a little bit more intelligence that he's gained, more experience that he's gained, and he's very proactive, you know, he's very smart about the things that are going on. He thinks for himself, which I appreciate. Next one, Betchy the Bailet. I don't really consider this to be a character, but if you're going to put Betchy up there, I mean, he does like cheese. I like, cheese is all right. I guess I'll put Betchy in C tier. You know, depending on what happens with Betchy, all right? If my theory comes true and Betchy becomes part of the next Bailet Sword, then, that might be an A tier contender. Now, the next one, okay, this one, Bonebeard. This is probably my least favorite character in the entire manga. I hate the fucking pirates, dude. They, unlike Adan, who, is super annoying and meant to be annoying, so are the pirates. But I don't feel any sense of enjoyment when I'm reading the pirate sections. I hate the way that they're designed. I hate their dialogue. I hate how long they stay in the manga. Basically, everything you could do to annoy me, these pirates do. I cannot stand them. And I'm glad, you're dead. Buscon is A tier. Buscon's a badass dude. A lot of people forget about Buscon, worked on the sided shooter, but he was just as, if not a bit stronger than Guts was during the Golden Age arc. A lot of people forget just how intimidating Buscon was. We don't get a lot of them, but again, his impact on the story is important. If Zod had not thrown Guts his sword, Buscon would have won. He disarmed Guts, he had him down. Like, Buscon was going to win that fight, if not for Zod. So, that's deserving of A tier. The Goat Penis Man. You know, on the one hand, he is just a big goat. But on the other hand, he does have a snake penis, which I think is cool. Not that I would touch it, but if I had a snake penis of my own. Also, before he gets turned into the Pseudo-Apostle, where he's just sitting there in the ghost mask and he's got, like, 3 chicks all around him. I mean, that's kind of, like, what we all want, right? So, but character-wise, we know nothing about him other than he throws really good parties. So, I guess he's going to be a high C tier there. Corkus. Corkus is going to be A tier for me. Corkus is A tier. I know what you're saying. Like, what, Corkus? Listen, man. Corkus is the realest, most down-to-earth character probably in the entire manga. Is he a bit of a dick? Yeah, he is. But he has a right to complain for a lot of the things that he talks about. And, you know, he's got a bit of a broken past just like everybody else. And he just tells it how it is, man. Also, he died with his face buried in a pair of tits. And there's a lot of horrendous deaths in Berserk, okay? There's a lot of characters that meet their end in cruel, unjust, disgusting ways. And I'm just saying, if I could choose to go out like any Berserk character went out, I'm choosing Corkus, all right? 1,000 times over any. Okay, so admittedly, I can't really remember who this character is. He looks super familiar. He looks like he's part of Roderick's crew, but I'm actually not sure. This is actually a character I don't really recognize. I'm trying to think of who he is. I don't know. Well, he's obviously cooler than Bonebeard, so I guess I'll put him there. Kaska, I mean, it's hard not to put Kaska in S tier. I mean, Kaska is the crux of everything, right? She's the one that brings Guts back to his center. She is the flame that keeps the darkness away, as it were. Also, she's got her own tragic past. She tried so hard. She was the only woman in the Band of the Hawk. She rose up to be a leader. She's competent. She's intelligent. She's forward-thinking. Her relationship with Guts is something that's always going to mean so much to me, and I think there's a lot of potential for her character moving forward. Obviously, after the eclipse, relationships. You know, she was kind of out of it for a while, which I think this next one here is meant to represent Kaska after, you know, her sanity breaks during that portion of the manga. So if we're counting those as different characters, which I don't, in my mind, I don't count them as different characters, but if the list is saying like, okay, you have Kaska with her mind and consciousness, and then Kaska with her mind broken. I mean, I guess this version of Kaska I would put in B tier because she's cute and funny, but like there's not, I mean, obviously there's not much there, right? She's there to be protected and to be healed. So, you know, that's where I would put her. Chich, adorable, you know, another light in the darkness, right? One of Guts' first encounters with an astral creature who literally, well, seemed to have given her life in order to save Guts, but we learn later on that it might be just the attachment to her flower. Like if the flower was no longer there, she just kind of phased back into the astral world. So she could still be alive. I honestly would not put it past the story. I think that we might see Chich again. If I was a betting man, I would bet over 50%. I think we will see Chich again. She was great. Impact in the story is good, but it is kind of like, I don't know. I'm going between A and B tier for Chich. I think I might go B tier. Some people might think that that's low, but as of right now, B tier. But we'll see. Daiba, my man, floating around, smoking a hookah, creating a bunch of ocean snake things. Daiba is cool, man. He also shows us that there's another way to utilize magic besides just what Shirake does. As a character, I mean, he is sort of that like old wise dude that just doesn't fuck around, which I appreciate. So I guess he's going to be a high B tier. I'll put him in high B tier. Danan, the Flower Storm monarch herself, the king, if you will, of Elfhelm. Beautiful, funny, adorable, connected to Skull Knight in some way that we're not really 100% sure yet, and now currently no longer in the physical realm. You know what, Dan? It's cool. But again, I don't think she's cool enough to go up to A tier yet, so I think I'm going to put her in B tier. I'll put her just behind Daiba. And then this next group of characters, so these are the torturers. To be honest, I never really cared about them too much. They're misfits that were taken in my Mozgus, given a purpose. You know, they are people that would be rejected by society at large because of the way they look or where they're from and that kind of stuff. So I like the idea and the sentiment behind the characters, but I'm not really big on the characters themselves. You know, so I guess all of these characters for me are going to go in C tier. I guess I would rank the Bane motherfucker probably towards the top, and then the guy that wears like the death mask first. But other than that, I don't really care about these characters. Donovan's gonna get this is where it gets controversial, right? Because the Donovan character is important for Guts' backstory and Guts' character development. Donovan as a character is an absolute total piece of human fucking shit. So where do you rank Donovan? His importance to the story, or you know, him as a character? And I think that I'm going to put him in F tier because I think I just can't justify putting Donovan anywhere else. You know what I mean? Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. The egg of the perfect world, I do feel a bit of sympathy for. A dude that really had no name, no purpose, nobody to sacrifice, became a sacrifice himself in order to bring about a perfect world. And he even took pity on the demon child. So, you know what? Not quite A tier. I'll put him above Azan. We'll put him there. This priest guy, he was in the Enoch village. He was the one that was surprised at the trolls and the magic that Shirake had and stuff. He's all right. I mean, I guess I like him more than torturers, but I don't really care about him. Erica is a good character for what she is, which is just like a young girl that was taken in by Godo and just sort of like is there to be adorable, is there to be a comic relief. So I mean, she does, as a character, she does her job well. I guess B tier, but I'll put her low B tier. Evalera, listen, Evalera's got some nice abs. That's all I'm going to say. Evalera is all right, but she is definitely like the weakest link of the main cast, like of the core, you know, what is it? The core, you know, Guts, Kaska, Isidro, Farnese, Serpico, you know, Roderick, Puck. I mean, Evalera is definitely the weakest. So, I mean, I guess she's B tier, but she's not even up to where Erica is. Farnese, this is going to be controversial. Because I'll tell you what. Because the reason is she's going to be an S tier. Now, I like Kaska more. My personal preference is I like Kaska more. However, I will say that Farnese has by far the best character development in the manga other than Guts himself. So there's an argument to be made that Farnese is above Kaska. At least as in terms of character in the story. But impact in the story, you want the impact of the Golden Age arc, the impact from the Eclipse, the impact of what it means for Guts' character and his shift. Impact considered, Kaska would still probably edge out Farnese, but Farnese is right there in S tier. Flora is a good like mentor character, showcased a lot of really cool things, gave us a lot of lore and exposition about, how all the different worlds work and everything. She served her purpose well. I think she's a B tier character. I might put her above Daiba. I might put her like right around there. Minister Foss, I mean, what can you say about this guy? He conspired against Griffith, but, he's still alive. He's still there. So all Griffith had to do was, kidnap his family, and he fell in line. I don't really have a problem with Foss. I don't really like him either, but I don't really have a problem with him. So I guess I'm going to put him a high C tier. Now, I'm assuming this next one is meant to represent King Geyserich, so not Skull Knight, but King Geyserich as a human. So what do we know about him? We know he was a legendary warrior, a leader, a conqueror, brought everybody together under one nation, and then his kingdom was absolutely destroyed and he disappeared. I would say if you're going to conquer the entire world, you are a badass, but it's hard to put King Geyserich at an A tier because we don't really know much about him as a person, like we know his feats, his accolades, but we don't really know about him. Like we don't even really know if he was a good person or not, right? Because there's still, I mean, obviously, if you go with Skull Knight being Geyserich, you know that he's friends with Flora. Flora's a good person. She vouches for him. All right. You know that he did have a lover in the past, so he was obviously good enough to like, have somebody fall in love with him. So, but it's still hard to tell. It's still hard to tell, like, what kind of person he was. So I guess I'm going to put him up in B tier. I'll put him just below Flora. Gambino, same thing. Extremely important for Guts' development. I mean, obviously, Guts would be dead if not for Gambino, but Gambino also, gave him years upon years of different traumas that he has to kind of uncover. His only father figure that never really gave a shit about him, and he was forced to kill. So Gambino's impact of the story is really important. I'm going to put him in a high C tier because of that. Ganishka. Okay, so this is another one too. Now, I've said some things about Ganishka that I think, just reading him in the story, he's very much like just the villain, a standard villain character, right? He's evil, he wants to conquer, he opposes the God Hand. But Ganishka's impact in the story is extremely important. And his backstory is also an interesting one. It's always the fear of your position of power being taken away at any moment. It's just like you're worried about getting the throne, and then the moment that you have the throne, your life can no longer ever experience peace because you're always terrified about the person that's going to take it away from you. Like you are just in a constant state of anxiety, right? And that's kind of who he was. And even so, he was doing everything he could to maintain his position of power. He went to war with Griffith, which was awesome. And it's because he swallowed so much power from the astral world that, like, it caused the worlds to overlap when Griffith killed him. So, impact-wise, I think really important. I'm going to put him at a very highest B tier. That's where I'm going to put him. Gaston's a bro, you know what I mean? Like, he was always there by Guts' side. He just wants to open a clothing shop. He's a cool dude. He's voiced by Goku in the English dub. I guess, oh God, do I put him in A tier or B tier? A tier or B tier for Gaston? Gaston, whatever, A tier, fine. Who is this? Gedfring? Is this Gedfring from the island? He's all right. I mean, good exposition dump. Seems like a cool dude, but I don't know. I'm not vibing with him as much as the others, so we'll put him in B tier. Lord Genin. This is the guy that, this is the guy that well, let's just say he had a really fun time with Griffith. C tier, below the Goat Man. All right. Oh, now we get to the God Hand. All right. You guys are going to hate my ranking for the God Hand because Conrad goes up in A tier. Listen, Conrad is a badass because all the other God Hand, they got too much going on, right? Like Slan is like, whore princess of the Uterine Sea. Void is just like, I'm going to get up here and give my sermon. Ubik is just floating around, like being like a little like mischievous little douchebag. And then Femto is like, conquering the world and shit. But Conrad just sits back and he just is like, he just laughs. He just sits back and laughs, man. He looks at the world and he laughs. I appreciate that about him. No, it's hard to rank the God Hand. It really is hard to rank all of the God Hand because they are not in the story that much, but impact-wise, they are extremely important, and they're meant to be mysterious. They're meant to be in the background. They're meant to kind of wonder when they're ever going to show up again. I would say all of the God Hand probably are A tier. I mean, to be honest, they are all probably A tier, but Conrad's the best. I'd go Conrad, Void, Femto. I mean, they're separating Griffith's character into a couple of different things here, but we'll just do that. And Ubik. I guess they're all A tier for me. Godo is the GOAT. I don't know if I should put him in S tier, but he is the man with a lot of wisdom, just kind of always forged swords, and just kind of realized, the importance of being able to embrace your sorrow, instead of running away from it, which is an important lesson to learn. I think because of that, I think that... Who else do we have? I'm limiting it to 5. I know Guts is going to be up here. Godo might be... All right, we'll just put him at the top of A tier, and we'll see what happens. He's the top of A tier. So now I notice the tier list has 3 different Griffiths. This is obviously human Griffith, and then post-torture Griffith, and then incarnation ceremony Griffith. I would kind of just count them all as the same character. Like, you could argue that after the eclipse, it's Griffith embracing his darkness, but then you would have to separate it like every other apostle. You would have to separate it like you would have to have human Rosine and apostle Rosine, and human count and apostle count, and you would have to do it like that, and you would have to have that for all the God Hand too. So it's like, it's a little bit difficult. I mean, I guess this one would be the same as Femto, right? So it's just like choosing what form he's using. So really that one's the same. Griffith, I do think, is an S tier character, especially during the Golden Age arc. Post Golden Age arc, he is still, that character because of everything that we've seen from him before. Like, I'd still say he's a S tier character, but we don't get as intricate and in-depth with it, because I think that part of the fun of having like the Femto version of Griffith is not really knowing how much sense of fulfillment he gets from what he's doing, not really knowing what his full pure intent is. Like in the Golden Age, even though we don't get a lot of inner dialogue, we at least understand Griffith a bit. We understand that he's a commoner that built himself up, that found this following, wants to have his own kingdom. And then after the Golden Age arc, we see that he's kind of like stepping through, following the motions. He goes to see Guts, realizes that he's free from his human attachments and stuff. So, I mean, it's intricate. So, but I do count them all together, so I don't really like separate these characters down here. So I guess I'm just going to leave these characters down here because I've already ranked Griffith and Femto, if you want to look at it that way. So Grunbeld is probably my least favorite of Griffith's new crew. Grunbeld is, I mean, he's cool. He's a dragon man. There's very few ginger representation in Berserk, so I appreciate that, but I don't really care about him that much. So I'm going to put him below Azan. I'll put him below Azan. Again, they have different versions of Guts here, too. I'm assuming this is meant to be, like, Golden Age Guts, Conviction, Berserker Armor. But this is all this, like, again, like, Guts is all the same character. I'm including the entire story. I'm not separating it into, like, how Guts felt in the Golden Age as opposed to, like, modern times. So I'm just going to use one Guts image, and obviously Guts is number one of the best fictional characters ever created. Irvine, pretty damn cool. I'm going to put him in A tier. I just had to decide where I want to put him. Oh, also I should rank the God Hand a little bit higher. I'm going to put the God Hands above Salat. That's where I'm going to put them. I think that's the order I would put them in. And then I'd put Irvine right before Gaston. Isidro, I've made a lot of jokes about Isidro. I do find him to be very annoying, but I also do like some scenes with him. I like what he represents for Guts, putting him into that father figure position, but I still don't, I still wouldn't put him up in A tier. So I would put Isidro B tier. I'll put him a high B tier for me. Isma, very cool. Always got to have a fish girl by your side. It's very useful. It's very helpful in life to have a fish girl by your side. She's fun, dude. She's a fun character. She's fun. She's adorable. I don't really have anything bad to say about Isma. You know what I mean? I'm going to put her, you know what? I'm going to put her above Isidro. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Isma is above Isidro. This is one of the Kushan guys that I'm trying to remember. This is when Laban was rescuing the girls from Ganishka. He was all right. I mean, I don't know, C tier. I'll put him above Ganon. Below the Goat Man, though. He's not as cool as the Goat Man. Oh, all right. So my boy Jerome. Listen, Jerome does not get enough love in the Berserk community, and it's not fair. Jerome is a freaking badass. First of all, he's working with the Holy Iron Chain Knights, but he's just doing it as a job. He doesn't really care. He doesn't like his boss. He just kind of like slacks off. He goes to hang out with the prostitutes, winds up falling in love with one of them, quits his job to help the prostitute, helps her rescue a prisoner, also goes up to the top of the Tower of Conviction while there's like this mass, blob of darkness and anger, rage, resentment, all this like horrible emotional things coming towards him. 2 pseudo-apostles fall. He slices off both of their heads at the same time. Like, these two fuckers, where'd they go? The 2 little flying guys. Jerome kills 2 pseudo-apostles with 1 sword swipe and manages to survive through the entire night of the Tower of Conviction falling. This guy is a badass, all right? I love Jerome. Stop putting hate on Jerome. He's going to be up in A tier. He's going to be top A tier. Yeah, Jerome's going to be above Godo. I said it. Jerome's above Godo. Then we have Jill's dad. He's a douchebag. We'll put him down here. Jill herself is a great character, great coming of age story, a lot of life lessons to be learned. I will put her probably, put her above the God Hand. I'll put her after Salat. Judo. Now, a lot of people love Judo. Judo is most people's favorite Band of the Hawk member, and it's understandable. Judo is the kind of guy you can bring home to mom. But for my personal preference, I think I'm going to put Judo after the God Hand. Yeah, I'm going to put him after the God Hand. I like Judo, but you know what? I just happen to like these other characters more. That's all there is. No hate against Judo. I just happen to like the others more. Count Julius, he is a douchebag, but he was right that Adonis needed to practice his swordsmanship more because clearly. I guess I'll put him up in CT. I'll put him above Gambino at the very least. The King, probably one of the most horrendously disgusting characters in the entire manga to do that to your own child. He's just as bad as Gambino and Donovan, in my opinion. So I'm going to put him, F tier. He's not... There's an argument to be made. I mean, they're both because he did it to his own daughter. That's the thing. But it didn't follow through. So I guess he's just slightly... Donovan is slightly worse than he is. So wait, would that mean I'd have to rank them this way? Yeah, because that would be my least favorite. Okay, so that's what it would be. And then they have the King again. Snake Baron, pretty cool introductory villain. Just basically shows us what an apostle is. Not really much to him, but, he's cool. We'll put him at the bottom of B tier. Locust is all right. A lot of people like Locust, too, and I'm not, like, the biggest fan. A lot of people like Grunbelt, and a lot of people like Locust, and I'm not really big on either of them. They're fine. I'd put them, like, around the same tier together, so there they are. Then we have Nina. Nina is a coward. She's just, she's trying very hard for self-preservation. She's willing to screw anybody over for it. She does feel bad, but she goes along with it anyway. She needs a lot more discipline. She's also got syphilis, so I guess she's going to be a C tier, you know what I mean? And then Joaquin... Oh, wait, there's these characters. These are like the other prostitutes from the Conviction. We don't really get to... I mean, they're just kind of like... They're just kind of like the cheer team for Luca. We don't really get... much from them. I guess I'll put them down there. Joaquin is in a way even worse because he was with Nina. She gives him an STD, and then she takes him to a giant sex orgy. And then because he freaks out, she calls everyone over to him, and they throw him off a cliff. So she literally has her boyfriend get thrown off a cliff. Miraculously, he doesn't die, and then he takes her back at the end of the arc. And I just like, bro, that's... I just can't, bro. I can't. You know what? For that, you got to be F tier. You're not as bad as these characters, but, like, you got to be F tier, dude. Like, that's just, like... Man, you got to learn your lesson, bro. Learn your lesson. Luca. Luca's great. You know, very motherly character. Very, you know, caring, nurturing, all that. I mean, there's her profession to consider, but you know what? I mean, hey, if Jerome can look past it, we'll put her up in A tier after the God Hands, right after Jido. We'll put her up there. Then we have Magnifico. He's a dork, but he's harmless, but he's, you know, so I can't say I hate him. I guess top C tier. He's fine. Oh, then we have this guy. I forget this guy's name, but he's the guy in the Guts flashback that betrays him. Causes him to get captured where he met Chich. So he's a douche. Not as bad as these characters, though, but he's there. The Moonlight Boy, you know, Guts and Kaska's child in the body of Griffith. Always goes back to his mother to try to protect her. He's pretty cool. I've always enjoyed whenever the Moonlight Boy shows up. I don't think I can quite say A tier, but we'll say B tier. Then we have this guy. Oh, this is Morgan. This is the guy that leads Guts and company to Flora and then back to Enoch Village. He was the guy that's like, he was your D&D character that's like, hey, I have a problem in my town you need to come help me with. You know, he was that character. He's all right. I mean, I guess we'll put him in B tier. I mean, he was a cool dude. It just like, you know, he's just not like up to par with the other characters. You know what I mean? Oh, then we have Morta. Morta, my sexy goth witch GF. If you look like Morta, DM me. Morta, I want to put her up high because, you know what? Because fuck it. Because this is my list. That's why. Yeah, Morta. I can't say she has more impact in the story than these characters, but I'll put her up as high as I possibly can. All right? She's below Luca just because she doesn't have as much impact on the story, but she's still ongoing. She's still with our main cast right now. And we'll see what happens, man. And trust me, if Morta's going to have any impact, I'm going to notice it. I'll impact her. Mozgus is going to be up in A tier. I think Mozgus is probably the best villain other than like the God Hand and Griffith Femto himself. So I guess I'm going to put Mozgus. Actually, I'm going to put him above Jido. Just simply because Mozgus is a guy that actually legitimately terrifies me. Because he is somebody that so distinctly believes that what he's doing is correct. That he is willing to do horrendous monstrosity. What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. He's willing to torture people in the guise of it will be better because if you die, you'll go to heaven. It's fine. Like he just believes so much. He's in his conviction. You know, the conviction arc is all about convictions. In what he's doing is correct, and that, you know, by following the Holy See, like all will be resolved, right? He even believes that when he gets in power, that it's God's doing, which in a way it is, but it's, you know, God created by man, created by connective consciousness, creating apostles. It gets kind of crazy. Mule is, you know, I've always liked him, but I liked him. I don't love him. He's all right. He's decent. I guess I'll put him. I guess I'll put him down here. Whatever. B tier. Pippin, my man Pippin, has got to go in A tier. Pippin has got to go. We gotta put Pippin. Oh, man, where do I want to put Pippin? I guess I don't like him as much as Jido. I guess I'll put Pippin right below Morta. I can't put him on top of Morta. I'd put myself on top of Morta, though. Charlotte. Charlotte is also an A-tier character because Charlotte... Listen, Charlotte did nothing wrong. All right? The fact that Charlotte is in love with Griffith is not her fault. She's a princess. She's been pampered. She's been taken care of. She's looking for a strong, you know, high-ranking, noble guy. Griffith is charming. He's charismatic. He's good-looking. He's strong. He's intuitive. There's every reason in the world she would fall for him, even more so when he comes back and rescues her from Ganishka, literally rescuing the princess from the castle. She's super loyal to him, even when Griffith was a mangled, you know, shell of his former self. He couldn't even move. He was crippled. You know, any other girl would just leave. Charlotte not only helped rescue, break him out of the dungeon, but actually dove in front of a poison arrow in order to protect him. How many girls out there do you know that would dive in front of a poison arrow for you? I'm just saying this makes Charlotte a top tier character, top tier woman in the Berserk universe. I can't very well put her over Morta, but I'll put her right there. I'll put her right next to her. All right, so we're getting close here. We're getting close. Next, we're going to go... Where are we at here? Next, we're going to go with... Oh, this is Erica. This is Anna. This is her little Charlotte's handmaiden. She's all right. She's always got Charlotte's back. You know, we'll put her just after Avalora. We'll put her there. Puck, the MVP, man. Puck is always there. Puck has been there since Chapter 1. Well, Chapter A. You know, Puck has always been there. I always kind of wanted to go back to, like, the Guts and Puck adventures, you know? I always wanted, like, after Elfhelm was destroyed, that maybe Guts would go off on his own, but Puck would follow him, and we'd get, like, a little, like, you know, classic, nostalgic, you know, team up between the two. I've always loved Puck. I think he's going to be A tier. I'll put him above Jerome. I'll put Puck above Jerome. Who is this? Is this the Queen? Yeah, she's a bitch. Put her down here. I guess I like her more than these two, but yeah, she sucks. Rakshas is awesome. Rakshas is probably my favorite or second favorite of Griffith's crew, so I guess that would put him near Irvine. I'll put him below because I feel like Irvine still has more potential, but we'll see. So we got Ricker. Again, they got multiple Rickards here. I guess I'll do the most recent one. Ricker is... I'm really tempted to put him in an S tier. I only have room for one more S tier, and I'm literally debating between three characters right now. I'm debating between Ricker, Roderick, or the Skull Knight for my last S tier. And I can't quite decide because they're all so badass in their own way. Because Ricker literally was willing, after he got the offer from Griffith to stay in Falconia, to live in luxury, no hard feelings, got nothing against you, Ricker slapped that motherfucker in the face. He's the only person to ever get a hit on Griffith since his incarnation. And it's just the badass testicular fortitude of saying, I would rather risk my life living out in a world of monsters than live in luxury, knowing that that luxury was built on the graves of my friends. That is hardcore. And I think that just saying that now, I think that might solidify my opinion. I might have to put Ricker in the S tier for that alone. Because the ability to do that is so, massively just impressive. Now, Roderick also, I preach the gospel of Roderick all the time. Roderick has everything that you would want, man. He is suave, he's charismatic, he's in shape, he's a nobleman, he's rich, he's a ship captain, he can fight, he can sword fight, he's brave. He's got everything. He was built up, I love the bait and switch of Roderick's character, because he's built up as, oh, he's going to be this pompous, rich douchebag, but he's actually competent. A room of demonic tigers, start killing everybody, and what does Roderick do? Does he run? No, he just pulls out he's never seen a demonic tiger before. He's probably never even seen a regular tiger before. But he pulls out his sword and immediately starts fighting them. When he's on the ship fighting the pirates, he goes into, his plan of action, starts fighting as a ship captain. When Guts is swallowed by the sea god, Roderick jumps right into the mouth of the sea god to save him. Actually, there's a moment where Guts falls off the ship and is about to fucking fall into the ocean, and Roderick is the man that saves him. I'm convincing myself to put Roderick in S tier now also. This is ridiculous. If anything, Roderick is going to go in the highest A tier if I have 1, 2, 3, 4. If I have 5 S tiers, then... man, that's tough. Oh, man. All right, whatever. We did it. We made the decision. Rosine, awesome character. I'm going to put her in A tier as well. I'll put her above Judo. I know you guys are going to hate me, but there's characters I put above Judo. Shirke, also probably a contender for S tier, but not quite in my... She's right up there. I'd probably put her... I'm going to put her after Roderick. Yeah, I know you guys are going to hate me. Just right... I mean, she's still right up there, man. She's still top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's number 7. She's in the top 10. All right. I just put her after Roderick. Serpico is a character that I really, really enjoy, although lately he hasn't done much in the story, but I think that he is competent. He's a badass. He has a good backstory. I would put him probably above Puck and right below Shirke. Shisu, Guts' quote-unquote adoptive mom. I mean, you know, we don't really get much. She is the reason, I guess you could say Guts is alive, but we don't really get anything from her. But I'll still put her above these characters. And then Schnoz. All right, we might have to make an extra tier. We might have to make like an S plus tier for Schnoz because I don't think Schnoz could fit anywhere else on the list. So, all right, fine, fair. All right, I'm adding one extra to S tier for Schnoz. All right, Schnoz. If anybody can break the rules, it's Schnoz. Laban is cool. Laban and Owen, I've always enjoyed them. They're great little side characters that show up from time to time. I'll put them in B tier. Put them above Locus. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm putting them above Locus. Deal with it. They're there. Skull Knight is going to go up in A tier, but as to where, that's the question. Because Skull Knight is so cool, man. But do I like him more? I probably like Skull Knight more than Shirke. Do I like Skull Knight more than Roderick? God damn. I mean, he is the Skull Knight. Yeah, I guess so. This is where it gets hard. Because then I might move Rickard down now that I'm here, because Skull Knight is so cool. But there's still so much about Skull Knight we don't know. He's so mysterious, but that's what makes him cool. Whatever. We're living with this right now. We're almost done. The Count, great antagonist. I'm actually putting him up in A tier. Don't like him quite as much as Rosine. Probably less than Pippin, less than Irvine or Rakshas, but he's right there. He's right up there. Sonya, I don't hate Sonya. Again, like, I don't feel like she did anything wrong. I feel like from her point of view, and I actually think Sonya might be the key to unlocking everything moving forward. I think Sonya is great. You guys might hate her. You might be annoyed by her, but I like Sonya. I don't like her as much as these characters, but I'll put her up there. The Pontiff, I mean, he's just an old dude, an old religious dude, whatever. I'll put him there. Teresa, the Count's daughter, is fine. We won't waste a lot of time on this. I'll put her right there. Then the Torturer, creepy little fucker. I guess I'll put him C tier. I guess I like him more than he might be top C tier. You know what? He's a douchey dude, but I kind of like him. Danny DeVito looking motherfucker. Demon Child, I feel like since we already have the Moonlight Boy on here, I don't need to do that one twice. And then Farnese's parents. Lord Venemian seems to be he's a busy man. He's a very important man. A lot of people expect a lot from him, but he's a good dude deep down. He's a genuine guy. So I guess I'll put him right behind Valera. Farnese's mom, though, I'll put down a little bit lower because, I mean, she only has like one scene that's important. Vargas is a great character. He kind of shows us that resilience, to continue trying to do the right thing, even though, he's been like crippled and broken and had horrible things happen to him. I respect that. So I'll put him, yeah, I guess do I like him more than the Moonlight Boy? Probably not. I guess I'll put him right there after Isidro. Then we have the witches on the island. This is kind of in general. I mean, they're okay. I guess we'll put them up above the Vandemians. We'll put them there. And then the elders on the island, same place. They kind of fill the same role, just the the students and the masters. Wild, his impact on the story is pretty intense. I mean, he's definitely a character you never forget, even though sometimes you kind of wish you would. Can't say I like him more. I mean, he's not really a likable character, but you like that you dislike him. So I'll put him... Oh, God. Wild, I'll put right above the Bakiraka guys there. I know. I do enjoy his antics sometimes. Motherfucking Zod. I think that's another A-tier character, but it's just a matter of where. I guess I like him more than Jerome. I guess I like him more than Puck. I think I like Zod more than Serpico. Maybe Shirke is where it stops. So I'll put Zod there. And then last but not least, Zondark. You want to put Zondark in S tier too, because he's just got a rough life, man. I have a whole video on Zondark. But I guess, for the purposes of this video, he's going to go down in C tier. Below, actually, I like him more than all these characters. So there we go. All right, so there, let me see what this looks like here. All right, so here is the definitive list. I guess my top 10 characters. Schnoz is above them all, so he doesn't even count. He's like, he counts so much that he is just above. Actually, can I add another tier? Is that possible? Add row above. Yeah. S plus. All right. All right, so here's the definitive list. First, we have Schnoz S plus because Schnoz is the god and ruler of everything, and we cannot deny that he is number one. Then I guess my top 10 would be Guts, Kaska, Farnese, Griffith, Rickert, Skull Knight, Roderick, Shurke, Zod, and Serpico. I guess those would be my top 10. I feel a little uncomfortable not having Puck and Jerome reach the top 10, but I guess when you just have this many good characters, it's just hard to do. And then the rest follow suit. So let me know what you guys think of my tier list down below in the comments. How much do you agree? How much do you disagree? That will be exciting. And I guess I'll leave a link for it in the description too, so you guys can do your own tier list. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Really appreciate it. Didn't expect it to go on this long, but I guess I had a lot to say. Give it a like and a comment to help it out in the algorithm. Also, check the links in the description because I have channel memberships, Patreon, merch store, and all the various social media links where you can follow me. Other than that, guys, hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll talk to you next time.